How do planets in your third house create curiosity connections? And how do you activate all 10 of them plus Chiron? It can be so frustrating when your thoughts either are running away from you and you can't catch that inspiration, like you're always chasing it, or there's just so much going on and you have too many ideas that you don't know how to pick one and how to stop the others from just intruding on the whole process. I feel ya. I feel that pain. I got you. Because nobody taught us how our mind works on a soul level. Picture this. You go to your front door, you open it up, and there across the street is a magical school. And it's been there your whole life, only you didn't know it. Well, guess what? This is the cosmic academy of your mind. How you learn, how you communicate, and how you relate to others in the academy. Your siblings, your local peeps, your first learnings all happened here. Everything you need to form connections to how your mind is working is right there to help you understand your personal style and make the most of it. You are learning the language of the universe for how you connect. This is your third house. And the planets, well, they're your teachers. So if you've been feeling overstimulated or your messages are being misunderstood, in this video, I'll show you how to start weeding out the cobwebs in your mind. And when I finally introduced myself as the student to my third house planets, everything started to make more sense. Hello, Chiron and Saturn and Pisces. And I'm going to be going over this with 5 key points for you on how this all works together. From the connections to the conflicts to the good communication and how this ties into Ophiuchus and the power of Chiron. And here's the comment question of the day. What is lighting up your curiosity right now? Comment below and let's get the conversation started. Hello, star friend. My name is Beth Hansen and I'm a true sidereal astrologist. I work with the constellations and how the planets relate with them. This isn't your typical tropical zodiac system. This is 13 signs filled with timeless magic. And I help shiny people like you weave that magic of the stars with the power of Mother Earth to bring it down into your everyday life. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is what is the catalyst that's making everything go? And why is mastering your natural learning and communication style so darned important? Well, right now the collective mind is shifting big time. You maybe have been finding yourself becoming more intuitive. You've got some emotional things going on, and the empathy is making you more sensitive and more aware of what's happening in your community, with your friends, your family, all these close-knit people around you. Plus, you're getting broadcasts from everywhere because we now have the internet and all sorts of crazy things happening in our world, right? So you don't know where your curiosity needs to land, or maybe you feel like you want to know all the things all at once, or you need to know all the things all at once. That is literally your third house being activated right now. That rising intuition, the shifting communication skills, tools, and styles, that shift is happening as well. Your nervous system feels a lot more sensitive. Maybe your relationships with your siblings or close friends have shifted, or you're finding a new friend group. These are all ways that the third house is being activated. Ultimately, this leads to a deeper desire to understand your immediate surroundings and how you connect with them and how you can communicate with those around you. So the big payoff from this catalyst is now you're aware of what the third house has to offer you. There might be some tools in my toolbox, some books in my library, and if I don't have them, that cosmic school of understanding might just have them for me. And the second thing is really getting that connection locked in. This is how this cosmic education is your personal system. When you think of your third house, think of it less as just a school, but the whole neighborhood you grew up in. And literally, the neighborhood you grew up in and the people who were around you, they sort of set the stage for the dynamics and your early understanding of how to communicate, how to be in community, how to make friends, how to be a friend. All of that, this was laid down in your early life, but you always have access to that school and those teachers throughout your life to retune and refine those. Think of it as your homecoming. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details of this cosmic breakdown, let's take a look and see what your planets here help you decide. They have an influence on how fast you think, how deeply you question, how you are speaking, what is it that you're afraid of, and what is it that you're seeking. And I'm going to equip you with a couple of school supplies before you get started. So down below, I do have a link to a True Sidereal chart calculator, and that's courtesy of Mastering the Zodiac, and you're going to want to look up your chart if you don't have it already. And the other thing I have for you, which is a starter guide, my free Unlock the New Zodiac. Now, here is that cosmic breakdown I was talking about. We start with what's called the personal planets, and we actually include the sun and the moon in these because they are bodies that we see in the sky as traveling, and these are the wandering gods. All of the planets are considered wandering gods. And the sun is a luminary. It talks to you about how you are identifying as a communicator. The moon is there so you can understand things on an emotional level and the lessons you learn from being in this close-knit group that you are in, that we all live in, that you lived in as a child and that you're living in now. It's about emotions. And then we look at Mercury. And this is the big, let's think about things, let's communicate them. And he's all about using whatever technologies are available to help you learn as well, which have changed since I was a kid for sure, and probably since you were, because things are moving fast in the technology of communication world, right? And then we also have Venus. This is about your harmony and how you are creating. This is the artistic part of your communication style. This is your visual communication. This could be how you're creating music, learning music, any of the arts. This is a very Venus thing because she's the great creator. And you're going to be creating some things with her that'll help you discover your true communication and learning styles, whether it's visual, audible, or just through vibes. Are you a big old psychic, emotive communicator? Venus can help you with that too, along with the moon. Very goddess energy. And the other personal planet that we want to mention here is Mars. And he is kind of a bit of a let's take action, let's be assertive, let's take charge, let's raise our hand up, let's always have the answer whether we know it or not, let's be the first to speak, let's be the first on the playground, let's be the last off the playground. Mars is all about action. And there's a physicality to Mars too. So he might bring in restlessness when your mind is trying to concentrate, might be saying, let's light a fire over here. Mars can be a bit of a trickster, almost a fae-like quality. If not combative, then certainly mixing things up. So, challenging teachers, challenging other students. The class clown, believe it or not, that would be a very Mars thing to do. And is that part of your communication style on your close messengers? and how are they talking with you and helping you speak? Then we have Jupiter and Saturn. These are considered the social planets. These are really the bigger teachers. And Jupiter is about being expansive, about looking outside of the box and saying, okay, I'm learning all this stuff locally. I wonder what's out there, but from the safety of your own home. And then Saturn is there to help with the structure and the discipline. Yeah, the discipline. I got Saturn in my third house, so yeah. In Pisces. So that makes the discipline a little bit, and yes, I'm going through my Saturn return right now, so it's coming and going because of the retrograde. So fun times if you've got Saturn placement in your third house, especially in that first part of Pisces. But before we get out to the outer limits of those really collective consciousness planets out there, these are the oldest wise ones. These are the ones with the doctorates who have a thing or two to teach us. And they set up the curriculum in the first place for the benefit of everyone in your neighborhood and in our world, and maybe beyond that. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. That's why we have Zodiac Club 13.
Every seeker begins under the same sky. The call of the stars whispering through the branches of night. You follow the light deeper into the forest of the unseen. And there a guide appears. A golden invitation. Your entry to Zodiac Club 13, the secret celestial lounge, where the night hums with magic, candles flicker, stars shimmer, and your place is waiting. Welcome to the party, where mystics, dreamers, and star lovers gather to celebrate the real sky. Inside, visionaries study the cosmos. Hands trace constellations as they truly are and weave their stories through the cards of destiny. Here, wisdom flows like starlight, every spark a new awakening. You found your circle. Zodiac Club 13, the midnight lounge for seekers of the real sky, filled with 13 signs and timeless magic.
And if you feel called to join us in Zodiac Club 13 to become part of the community right now, you can go ahead and click the link below. This is a beautiful place for you to really connect and reconnect with the magical star school that you were born with. Now, as promised, the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Yes, these are the ones who are the programmers who set up the curriculum, who set up the overall structure and helped build the school in the first place. Think of them as the three founders. Uranus upgrades your whole nervous system. And while programming your nervous system, it has to be aligned with the collective as well. Without that, the communication can't happen. So just so you know, your nervous system is online with that of Mother Earth. We are in an energy grid, and that is what Uranus is all about. And as the recording of this video is happening, Uranus is in Taurus and will be for some time. That means this is happening in the real world, real time. And Uranus is also a big innovator. So always innovations happening, which is why you have to revisit this school on a regular basis, because there are always innovations. And if you want to be able to communicate and not get lost in your thoughts, Uranus is there to help you reprogram and learn this upgraded curriculum, the whatever edition of the book of your communication style needs to understand the messages it's receiving. Now, Neptune, this is your awakening psychic ability. Yeah, it's all about the psychic stuff. It's about your empathy and your creativity and how you flow and groove and be groovy with the community. This is the hippy dippy vibe. And, this is that other out of the box thinking through play, learning through playfulness. And yeah, things can get a little out of control, especially when somebody decides to do math with the watercolors. It is definitely using all the tools at hand, whether they were meant to be used for that or not. Don't sniff the glue and don't eat the paste, okay? Not good for you. But, Neptune might just try it out to see how it feels. And now we have Pluto, who is there to really transform how you are perceiving things as the most outlying planet, dwarf planet, it's called these days. Pluto is about rethinking, reorganizing, and, let's blow something up in order to build something new type of energy. Yeah, it's fire and ice. There's nothing in between. It is connecting and transforming how you speak and how you are perceiving things and getting the upgrade on that very visceral level can be challenging. But that's why you go back to those more personal planets and those connector planets so you can get the full curriculum and get your lessons learned. But what happens when not everybody gets along? Like for myself, I've got strict Saturn, all about getting things done and having a framework floating there in Pisces. And what do you know? Here comes Chiron, the wounded healer. Sometimes what we run into in the third house is a little bit of chaos. And this is where your mind starts obsessing over things, where you might have either get so deep into an idea or feel lost in your own mind. And it happens. And this is what happens when those messengers are clashing with each other a little bit. If you know it all, you don't know it all. If you're curious, then that's a good thing. If you're so curious, you don't know where to start, that can be a difficulty. And sometimes you can have an emotional overwhelm when it comes to dealing with siblings and friends and the themes you were taught as children, the tools that you had, good or bad, that can affect how you are communicating in the here and now. This can bring up feelings of frustration, fear of being misunderstood, fear of not being heard, over-explaining, mansplaining. But every shadow has a gift behind it, because ultimately those experiences that are hard teach you empathy for others who have gone through the same thing. And that is a lesson in and of itself. And it's a beautiful one, because once you come out the other side with the help of the planets and the stars up above and the people around you who love you and support you in your education in the universe, they let you know that they're there for you. And guess what? The universe has got your back, and the planets are working harder than you think to help you learn those lessons. They're doing some stuff behind the scenes to make sure that we're always improving what we have to offer in the way of how our mind works, really understanding how do we change our minds for the better. This is where we get to the fourth topic, which is the integration. This is how we work with your third house energy and with those planets as teachers. This is where we get into problem solving, getting out that paper, doing the calculations, figuring some stuff out. And it can be really mystical and it can be really practical, because this is a down-to-earth kind of thing. Yeah. But go ahead and get out your school supplies, because we got a couple of exercises for you here. The first is mindful curiosity mapping. Grab your pen and paper and write down the 3 things that your mind keeps circling around right now. These are your soul's current assignments. The second thing is pay attention to your nervous system, because that's a big part of this curriculum. So learning some sort of breath work, such as box breathing, can be really helpful for regulating that. And box breathing is simple. You just breathe in to the count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts, and do that a couple of times. If you get lightheaded, stop and start breathing normally. Don't push yourself, and over time you can make that count span a longer and longer amount of time. And once you do that, go ahead and place your hand on your heart and say, I am open to today's lesson. That's all you need to regulate your nervous system when that mind starts going blah, 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 blah. Slow down. Find that center of your heart, because that is where Mother Earth is connecting with you, with her grid and your personal grid. And that's where Uranus is connecting with you. And that's where Mercury also and the moon connect with you, is through the heart. Frankly, all the planets ultimately are connecting on an energetic level through your heart. Your heart connects your upper chakras with your lower chakras. Literally, your heart chakra is also like its own heart, regulating the flow of energy from above, from the stars, down into the ground and back up again, so you can remain completely grounded. And the third thing, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood to make some magic by taking a walk. Say hello to the trees, touch grass, say hello to the puppy dog or the neighbor or whatever is out there, or the kids riding their bike. Smile and have a joyful day, because your third house loves familiar spaces. So whether you're walking around your yard or around your neighborhood, or just getting together at the local coffee shop, or bringing your journal, or getting online in Zodiac Club 13 while you sip your latte, yeah, you can do that. And what do these simple practices bring to you? They bring to you a sense of empowerment with regards to managing the whirligig in your head. Okay, so the fifth thing I'm going to talk about is what is being revealed here about changing your mind and embodying your nervous system and taking charge of it, and learning those basic tools of communication, of how you learn, what's your style, how you work with others, how you learn with others, how you learn alone, how you think about what is your next step, where do you want to go once you learn some basics, where do you want to take that in the world. All of that is part of it, but the one thing that I want to let you know, that none of this is new. You are literally remembering what your soul set you up to learn when you incarnated. You are remembering your future as well as your past. I know. Time and space is wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, and it doesn't just go in a linear fashion. We tend to experience it that way, but it's possible to think outside the box every once in a while. But the planets are there to help you. And this is where Chiron comes into the picture, because your biggest helper is your highest self or your higher power. Your gods, guardians, guides, all of that is there to help you heal whatever wounds you might have, whatever anxieties or depression around your mind, about removing that bad self-talk of that thing that was told you when you were a child that doesn't apply, that was never right, that was always a lie, and recovering the truth of who you are. And that is a process of healing, and that's what Chiron is there to do. Because Chiron is aligned with Ophiuchus, whether you want to say that he's the ruler over Ophiuchus or not, it's up to you. I think he is, because Ophiuchus is about facing and coming out of Scorpio and facing all of the things that came up in Scorpio, and then finally shedding what is no longer needed and going into the abyss of the galactic center and then coming out the other side. Once you come out the other side, you step into Sagittarius. And this is very much what Chiron is all about, helping people do as a healer. So that's how Chiron actually helps people heal. And this Ophiuchus gateway, it touches the third house when your intuition becomes a healing instrument. When you connect to your highest self with Source, with Great Spirit, with that quantum energy, with that beautiful thing that is creating everything with you through love, whatever you want to call it, is there for you. And you're healing and rediscovering your codes of how you communicate, of how, in fact, how you can teach the things you've learned to somebody who's completely new. That's part of your communication style as well, is being an elementary school teacher, being that teaching assistant for whatever planet is most resonant for you, whether they're in your third house or not. Sometimes we learn from planets through other ways, but we can apply them in our third house of learning and understanding. This is the sacred blueprint, and this is where you can check out those books from the Akashic Library. Forget about AI and chats and bots. Guess what? You get direct downloads and you can ask questions and you can say, I need this piece of information. And that is what's starting to happen to me now that I have been online with True Sidereal Astrology. Some really cool stuff. Yes, we do test it and verify it in the real world. That's the Mother Earth part of it. But those stars, they are really bringing it for us. And what happens when you connect that healing energy? This is full on transformation of a changed mind. Yes, you have to do your homework, but you do get the payoff of being able to take the next class and go deeper. This is where you go to your school locker and open it up and pull out all the books and that blueprint that mapped out your whole curriculum and how things are going to be working for you here. Your mind, your curiosity, your soul's messaging style is all there in the third house. So it's not chaos. It is a classroom. Now things get a little bit chaotic between classes and people running around trying to get to the right place at the right time, but that's part of the community and that's part of the learning as well. So bring your latte, sit down with the latest book that you're studying about how you are going to be communicating your next big idea, and take some notes, because the universe is here to help you and to teach you and to help guide you, and your soul will be so grateful. So now you made it to the end of the video, and you know what? Thank you for being here and for sticking it out till the end. And remember, we have the comment question of the day, and that is, what is lighting up your curiosity right now? Comment below and let's get that conversation started. And if you really want to grab your magic wand of curiosity, click the links below to unlock your new zodiac with my free PDF, or get into the Zodiac Club 13 and hang out with your fellow students there. And now that you know how planets in your third house connect curiosity through your soul, you might be wondering why planets in your first house are so life-changing. Well, I've got you covered there too. When you combine what you just learned with this video up here, it's way more powerful. And remember, connect with me in Zodiac Club 13, and blessed be, namaste, and all that jazz. And I'll see you in the next video.